Diana, especially in Coach Behar, how it's feel to be here?
Thank you. It's always lovely to be in Cooch Behar. So I've been working with UBKV in Cooch Behar for 10 years now. And the level of science and the dedication to the farming community is very wholehearted. It's really great to be back here with my friends at UBKV and the farming communities they serve.
Actually, if you travel a few more kilometers, you will reach the border area, Bangladesh-India border. So how it's feel to be here in this situation when Bangladesh and Indian relation are not so good at this moment?
So obviously I am not Bangladeshi, I am not Indian. So this is not my area of interest. This is nothing to do with me. This is a national matter that I am not part
So
of.
what is the purpose of this visit, after this visit?
So I am working on a project. I work for the International Maize and Wheat Improvement Centre. I'm based in Delhi. I live in Delhi. And we're working on a research project here looking at ways to improve the Rabi season production of maize crops. So adding in an additional crop, maintaining the maize yield, but adding in an additional crop. This project is funded by the Australian Government through the Australian Centre for International Agricultural Research. We are operating in India in 3 sites, in Meerut, where we do sugarcane research, in Bihar, in Kishanganj, and in West Bengal, in Cooch Behar, and in Malda region in maize, and then we're also operating in Bangladesh and Bhutan. So the purpose of my visit here today is to see just a sample of what the field trials are and how the farmers are going, what their learnings are, what the things that they can tell us. We are learning from the farmers as well. So a lot of what we are seeing in the field is the basic idea came from the researchers, and then farmers are providing their own innovations. And then we will take those learnings and put them into our field trials going forwards as well.
So actually, you were from Australia, so there are many farmers, and their farming technique and Indian farming technique are not same as my thinking. So as per you, which are the key difference between Australian farming and Indian farming?
So I think there are a surprising number of similarities between Indian farmers and Australian farmers, in the sense that all the farmers want to productively use the land to create a resource to feed their families and to feed their communities and to make money for themselves. At the same time, there are differences. In India, there is more irrigation. In India, there are at least 2 crops in a year, a kharif crop and a rabi season crop, whereas in Australia, most of the time, there is a rain-fed system with 1 crop. In Australia, the biggest crop that is grown is wheat, whereas in India, I think the biggest crop that is grown is rice. Then there's a lot more diversity of cropping systems in India than there are in Australia. So one of the joys that I am having living in India, living in Delhi, is I get to see a lot of different cropping systems, and I am learning a lot about the farming systems of India, which is a really wonderful thing to be doing.
And there is another question that many Indian farmers want to learn from European country, Australian country. So what are the main thing which Indian farmer can learn from Australian farmers?
So I think there is generally 2-way learnings, and sometimes the learnings are at the small level, so they're innovations that are happening that maybe one farmer is thinking of that other farmers haven't thought of, that the innovation can be put into a number of different farming systems. And this is a 2-way process. So yes, there are some ways in which Australian farmers or European farmers have already learned these things, in particular conservation agriculture practices. They were learned in the 1980s in Australia, and that was largely because there was a very bad drought. And before then, Australian farmers were not doing conservation agriculture. They needed to learn how to do conservation agriculture to preserve their soil moisture. And then this is some learning that we have taken to India and to other countries. At the same time, there are many, many things that Indian farmers can teach the world about water use efficiency, about how to operate with reduced labour, about growing several crops in a year. There are many, many different ways in which the Indian farming community is highly advanced and is taking learnings for the world.
So there is a question about environment, about because of many kind of farming, environment is harming. So how can we reduce this?
Sorry?
The harmful way of farming, like paste
Yeah.
or chemicals.
Yeah.
So how can we reduce that?
So in terms of reducing the harm that farming does to the landscape and trying to be more sustainable, I wholeheartedly believe that this is something that farmers want to do. So farmers are looking to make sure that their production systems are as efficient as possible, that they last into the long term, so that their children can also have an income stream from the farms if that's what they want. There are many different ways in which farmers can do this. Conservation agriculture practices, which UBKV has developed and refined for this North Bengal region, are a key part of that. and then also regenerative agriculture practices around that are coming forward as well.
Your name and designation, please.
So my name is Alison Lang. I'm an agroecologist at CIMMYT in Delhi.
Namaskar.
Namaste.